Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
On the second night of the Republican convention, the main themes were meant to be immigration and crime, but the overarching theme really was about party unity. And you saw that tonight with some of Trump's former foes coming out and giving full-throated speeches to support him.
Let's make the 45th President of the United States the 47th President of the United States.
If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump.
It was on purpose that they were all speaking on the same night to convey party unity, especially in the wake of the assassination attempt on Trump.
Let me start by giving thanks to God Almighty for protecting President Trump. And for turning his head on Saturday as the shot was fired.
The endorsement by Nikki Haley of Trump is especially notable. This was not something that was planned or expected before the assassination attempt on Trump this past weekend. She was not on the speaker list. She hadn't been invited as far as we knew. And yet after the shooting, she came out and said she would attend.
You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Take it from me, I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree.
And a lot of the speakers we saw tonight, both Trump's former opponents and even the regular people, spent a good portion of their speeches attacking President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
President Trump did the job that Kamala won't and Joe Biden simply can't.
The biggest theme of the Biden attacks were his age.
I am alarmed that the current President of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
But we also heard quite a few attacks on Vice President Harris, perhaps even more than we used to hear. I think that's a recognition from Republicans that her spotlight has really grown as doubts have grown within the Democratic Party about whether to keep President Biden on top of the ticket.
A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Kamala Harris.
One of the big reasons Republicans attacked Harris so much tonight is that one of the big themes of tonight was immigration.
And let me remind you, Kamala had one job, and that was to fix the border. Now imagine her in charge of the entire country.
Early on in her tenure as vice president, Kamala Harris was handed this portfolio of attacking the root causes of migration. And as far as Republicans are concerned, that made her the border czar.
After Joe Biden and the border czar, Kamala Harris, reversed President Trump's immigration policies and welcomed a third world invasion.
One of the big selling points for Donald Trump among Republicans was the idea that the country was safer when he was president.
When President Trump was in the White House, Americans had more money and lower prices. Our borders were secure and our laws were enforced.
The idea of crime being on the rise has been a real talking point for Republicans throughout the Biden presidency, even though most statistics show crime has actually been going down for quite a while since the pandemic. But you heard Republicans quite a few times on the second night of the convention reference the need to be tougher on crime, to have more police on the streets, and the idea that the Biden administration is to blame for crime, especially in cities.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who claim to represent us, have abandoned us. They neglected the poor minority communities across America.
An overriding theme of the Trump presidency and of a Trump second term, he has said, would be combating illegal immigration. And you heard speaker after speaker tonight make the point that Joe Biden opened the borders, that he let illegal immigrants come through, that you'd seen a huge rise in migrants crossing the border, and that one of the first things Trump would do would be to build a wall and tighten the border to keep migrants out.
We are facing an invasion on our southern border.
But our message to illegal immigrants is also this: we will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people,
but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law.
And we cannot allow the many millions of illegal aliens they've allowed to cross our borders to harm our citizens, drain our resources, or disrupt our elections. We will not allow it.
One of the lighter-hearted moments of the night was the appearance of West Virginia Governor Jim Justice's dog on stage while he was speaking.
I know that a lot of you want to meet my little buddy.
Everyone in the crowd seemed to enjoy her presence there, and she may have been the most popular appearance of the night. We learned tonight that the party is incredibly unified behind Donald Trump, arguably more so than they've ever been, even in 2016 or 2020. And we also learned what the sort of red meat issues are that continue to motivate the party, and that is crime and immigration. And it's no coincidence that they devoted an entire night of the convention to those themes.